Hey guys, it's Mr. Wolfie, and I am filming a video on my phone for the first time. So I got an iPhone 7, and I was just, I haven't actually done anything in weeks. So I thought I'd make a video because today was just a pretty awful day in America. Just there's been several significant mass shootings, just all of a sudden. You got the one in Alexandria, Virginia, at the congressional baseball. It was just a practice. It wasn't even a game. And then you got this UPS shooting that just happened as I was preparing to make this video, and all kinds of stuff. It's just one thing after another, and people. Okay, so I got several things to say. One, people like to find reasons that these sort of things happen. Um, and that makes a lot of sense. You want to figure out where you can solve the problem. The thing is, people don't really think about the total package about why these sort of things are happening. They just sort of latch onto one thing. So it's like, some people are jumping all over the fact that this guy was a Bernie Sanders supporter who hated Donald Trump, so that obviously means, and I mean, that is in fact what the problem is that he targeted Republican people. And then you got the other side's like, well, guns shouldn't exist, and white people are bad, and all this stuff because he was a white guy, and it's wild and crazy. Just the sort of justifications people are given to the fact that this guy was freaking insane and violent, and nobody thought to say, hey, maybe all this crazy stuff you're posting on your social media, maybe all this stuff you're saying in real life, which I'm sure he said some stuff, maybe there's a problem with you, and I would like to help you, and we could figure this out so you don't do something dangerous. I think it's the public's job to communicate with people that seem like they might need help on social media, and obviously on his social media. Well, I mean, it's hard to say that though, because I'm just throwing this out there, and it's not actually a good solution because everybody right now, and everybody for the past year or two, has had just tons and tons of political stuff, and it's hard to judge whether or not we're going over the top or they're going over the top, who's the crazy ones, who the bad guys, who the right guys are. It's crazy how hard it is to predict these sort of things. And it's easy to target, like, the root causes of things. Like, yes, of course, they shot people. This UPS thing, I don't know enough about to talk about it. I'm just mostly going to talk about the other one. By the way, that's a British flag. I also have a Scottish flag, and I also have an Irish flag because I have a video thing coming up. I was just going to talk about the UK, but anyway, we're not going to get into that for a while. Uh, it's easy to say guns exist. People use guns to kill people. We need to stop the guns. Well, I mean, maybe on paper that works, but you're not using your common sense when it comes to how that would have to go down or how that would even be possible. It would be physic. I can't imagine a scenario in America where you could actually get rid of all the guns, even if they made guns illegal, even if the U.S. government sent the military in, like apparently a lot of these anti-gun people think needs to happen. I honestly can't figure out, like, people are nuts. I don't know how they think this is going to work out. Anyway, I can't see them getting everything from all the civilians. It would be like chaos in the streets. There would actually physically be like crazies that were willing to fight the government over it and stuff like that. I wouldn't give mine up. I would just hide them somewhere, and I'd be like friggin' hiding a radio in Nazi Germany or something. I would make sure that I would still have access to them and stuff like that. But just because I'm a prepper type person, I make sure that I think of the worst case scenarios. I already have contingency plans for most of this stuff. Point is, it's easy to look at some little aspect and over focus on it and not look at the big picture, which is people died, people were hurt. Actually, I don't. At the time I'm making this, nobody was actually killed other than the shooter at the baseball game situation. But people, you overlook the fact that people need your help, and just start talking about stuff. Maybe you're disassociating yourself from the reality of the situation to find a solution to kind of ease your own mind about it, and that's fine. I mean, we need solutions to problems. I understand people doing that, but it's I think it's foolish to just say we need to get rid of guns. I think it's foolish to just say Democrats are all bad because this violent rhetoric, which the violent rhetoric is definitely a contributing factor to this, as much as the fact that this guy owned guns is a contributing factor to this. The way I see it, the stuff on his social media, and you can look it up. I'm not going to say his name, is very clear that he didn't just disagree with Republicans. He didn't just disagree with Donald Trump. He physically hated everything that the Republican Party is, stands for, and represents. And he was a huge Bernie Sanders supporter. And I know personally people that are sort of like that, like on the fence. Like you'll just hear him say something, and you're just like, I I don't think the tax situation is right. I don't think the healthcare situation is right, but I don't hate these people. What I think you're associating with people's political beliefs and everything with the person themselves, and I think that's where you've gone wrong. I think that's where we've gone wrong as a society. I think that's where we've gone wrong as, human beings. Is we think that what someone thinks makes them worth killing or worth, uh, you know, harming in some way. And I think that's the first step that we need to do to amend these sorts of problems is we need to stop looking at someone's political beliefs as a permission to hate that person. Like if someone, you know, it, try to convince someone otherwise. If you really care about what they think, if you really care about what they believe, if you really care about changing the situation, then maybe think actively about ways to convince people to see your point of view better, rather than thinking, "Oh, they don't agree with my point of view. I hate them. I don't want them to exist," because that seems to be overly normalized right now. You got the Kathy Griffin cutting off Trump's head. That was stupid. That was just moronic. You've got uh, that stupid Shakespeare in the Park, them killing Donald Trump because obviously Donald Trump needs to be stabbed to death, right? That's what they're saying in that by making him Julius Caesar. And people think it's okay. And it makes sense that people would be mad about it. People on the right and everything. And I'm not a Republican. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I I don't. I can't remember even who I voted for the first Barack Obama presidents. I don't think I voted for John McCain, but I can't even remember. It was my first time to vote. I honestly can't remember because it was what six, 12, 8 years ago. I don't even know what year it is anymore. I'm super. Okay. I have to clarify that I'm super sleepy right now because I didn't get much sleep last night. But anyway, so I'm kind of addle brained. I'm not really thinking straight. Um, anyway, point is, political parties should not. You can't just go throwing communists out of helicopters. You got to convince them that communism is bad. Is what I'm getting at, and vice versa. If you want to convince someone that communism is the best thing ever, don't kill them. Convince them. And if you can't convince them and you have to kill them, then obviously you're not preaching something that is a viable thing. Your belief system is flawed in that you can't convince somebody that it works. You can't convince somebody to agree with you. You have to harm them or kill them because it's better that they don't exist to counter your desires and needs and things. You know what I'm getting at? I don't know. I've ranted about this for almost 10 minutes now. I think that's plenty. I do own multiple guns, and I think that the Second Amendment is very important, and I can't see any sort of gun laws or gun regulations that would have prevented either of these things or any of these things. And people are going to say they are. I can't. Honestly, what we need, step one, is we need a social awareness of not hating each other, and we need better mental health services, I think. And we need to pay attention to people that look like they need help. Anyway, guys, peace out. This has been Mr. Wolfie. Love you guys.